Shalom, this is Amonute, Tayac of Piscataway, your friendly neighborhood Shuman, Sophia AmaruKhan, and we're here with our video on this very, very unusual conjunction we have happening today. This is Pentecost, this is Haitian Flag Day, this is Moshe or Moses' birthday. This is a very, very, very important day for our people, and so I got the inclination to make, let's look at the chart. Let's see what the energies are looking like. And it's a few things I want to point out before I actually do the AstroTarotGraphy that you can see in this chart, so you can just keep in mind what's going on. You have this chart is set for 2:36 p.m., but on this day, the May 18th, you have an exact conjunction between the North Node and Mars. They were both at 13 degrees at some point today. Okay. You have an exact conjunction between Uranus and Venus, both at 23 degrees. And you have an exact conjunction of the Sun and Jupiter at 28 degrees of Taurus. A triple conjunction day is like unheard of. Let's just start with the rarity of that. The inner planets usually move too fast and the outer planets move too slow for something like this to just happen. Like not just one planet, but 3 planets in the same 24-hour span. It's just unheard of. So, I wanted to point that out before I even do the reading, that we have a lot of planets in the same slice, and so there's energy that's reinforced, and you'll see that as we do the reading. Now, I may do another video on this today, and just kind of talk out some of my thoughts, or not. I'm not sure, but this type of information in general is information that the Kabbalists wish they could utilize. Kabbalists cannot comprehend this. It's incomprehensible because they have no creativity. That's what I've just decided. I've been trying to figure out why the Kabbalists, these people who supposedly spiritual, they're supposed to know way more than me. They can't decipher any of this stuff. And I don't know why. And so the conclusion I've come to is that they just can't. Their lack of imagination when it comes to the universe and how vast the creator is so limited that they literally cannot wrap their mind around a creator that can do all of this stuff and yet have order. They are always looking for order where they perceive chaos, but there was never any chaos. And so, therefore, there was always order. It's just, instead of trying to figure out the order of the chaos, they just try to make order out of chaos. It's not the same thing. It's not chaotic. These things are, just like I always say, this stuff is not complicated. It's not hard. There's no chaos. It's just that you don't understand the order, or they don't understand the order. People who watch my channel surely by now have an understanding of the order. But those Kabbalists, they don't understand the order. And therefore, they're always trying to make order out of chaos. When in fact, there was never chaos. There's always been order. And if you were seeking the order instead of seeking the chaos, then you might have found it. So, let's get started. Our very first placement we have here. Now, this is the AstroTarotGraphy for today, basically. This energy for today. Now, as a result, let me go back here real quick. As a result of these conjunctions, this energy is going to play out over at least a year. I pulled it for a year, and the reason why is even though the Mars and North Node conjunction won't happen again for 18, I guess, more years, 18 and a half more years, until the North Node is back in Aries. Venus and Uranus happens every year, and Jupiter and the Sun happen every year. So we're just going to, since it's 2 out of the 3 conjunctions are yearly conjunctions, we're going to look at the information for this for the year. So let me just, you can screenshot this and we'll be going through this energy for the next year. So if you want to be able to, I'll also put it in the description. All right. So, and also my links are still not clickable. So whatever, if you would like, in the event you would be interested in a reading like this for yourself and you have not gotten one, the information will be in the description box, or you can send me an email and I can send you a link from email, or you can join any of our groups and you'll be able to send a message from Telegram, okay? Because I am on Telegram. And maybe I'll start posting that so people can join me there in the event. And I'm also on I'm on Twitter, but my Twitter is restricted because I told a girl she needs to fast. And I'm on TikTok, but I don't do a lot on TikTok. I'm just observing mostly there. So most of my energy is put into direct conversations with people, and I think that I'll be keeping it that way. All right, so the ascendant is Virgo. And to me, like, wait, even before I do that, the next set of nodal placements is North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo. So to me, this Virgo ascendant is kind of hinting at that energy that's coming in, right? Also in this chart, you have triple 7 of Wands, which is something, surely something. You also have various forms of queens, various form of knights. You got double knights. You have the High Priestess and the Queen of Wands. You have the Princess of Coins. We have the moon here, so there's some illusions. And overall, there's more wands than there are swords. So this is about correcting course, in my opinion. Because remember, swords are hard endings. So there are some hard endings in the very beginning. But after you get past the hard endings, it's going to be a lot of just general course correction. And maybe even like airing things out with this 5 of Wands. Just, shoring up, securing. This is what the 7 of Wands gives me. Securing what you have, like securing it, not defending it, because if it was, even though it's already defended because you have this Knight of Wands here and it's followed by Ace of Wands. So it's already defended. It's more like just securing it, like making sure that it's safe, making sure that it's steady, making sure that it's not all over the place, that kind of thing. That's what the triple 7 of Wands gives me. Securing whatever it is that you have, not necessarily protecting it. That's done on the outside, but securing it on the inside, right? Because this guy is kind of like making a line between himself and whatever is coming. You know what I mean? And so securing it, not defending it. Okay. All right. So let me get started again. All right. So we have the Hermit, which is journey towards secrets revealed, willful intelligence, enlightenment, the inner life of pilgrim. Again, this just goes to what I was saying about the 7 of Wands. This event is about protecting or sealing what you have for you, what is already yours, what is already in your energy field. Because in my opinion, one of the things they've been trying to do is to manipulate our energy field in such a way that we don't have the ability to protect what we already have. Like, we are very, very powerful creators, just as we are. And that ability to create powerfully is often being challenged, I guess is a good word, or siphoned could be another word. It's thundering outside, so that was a little distracting. So that we are not given access to our full power. So this whole quiet introspection thing is basically like us reflecting on our innate power, so that we can be aware of when people are tapping into it. Because another one of the problems is, because we don't know how our power works, when people tap into it, we don't notice. So now, if people tap into my energy, I notice it immediately. For example, the lady who does the Schumann Resonance daily update, I think her name is Consciously Erin. She's on YouTube and TikTok. She mentioned in a video that a lot of people were feeling this heaviness. And I indeed have been feeling this, but not as much, because I began working on my full moon stuff right after the new moon. So while people were just taking in this energy with nowhere to put it, I had already begun to transmute the energy. No idea that's what was happening, but that's exactly what it was. So people were noting that they felt a lot of heaviness. And even I saw another TikTok creator, totally unrelated, who said the same thing. Like, he had this, strange fight or flight kind of response, and he didn't know where it was coming from. Like, and he had to check himself, and he looked, nearly in tears, in my opinion. So, this is a thing that has been going on amongst the conscious in the collective for at least the last week, maybe up to 2 weeks. And so as a result of that, them not really being able to attach that energy to us, because the people who could feel that energy and resonate that energy were able to identify it as not being their energy. See, now they've never had that happen. Usually when they put an attack like that on people, people automatically take that energy as their energy, and then they begin to do stuff with it. But the conscious and the awakened community recognize that energy as not being their own energy, and therefore they did not accept that energy. Well, I think Erin is a lovely person, but she is, I'm a little bit more realistic with the way that they do things. That was an energy they were trying to convince us was ours so that we would accept it. And a lot of people rejected it and said, no, this is not my energy. This is not how I feel. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? And so as a result, it wasn't able to have the effect that they intended, because people collectively rejected the energy. And so with something like that happening, you can automatically see that that's going to be a problem moving forward, because they've never tried to put energy on us that didn't land, that I can tell. Which means that energy has to go back to the people who were trying to put it on the collective. That's going to be a pretty heavy backfire for people who have never had to deal with any backfire from their energy. And that's the very first card out, is this Hermit card, just indicating that we're deep in this journey towards secrets revealed. And working on our inner life is going to be something that comes up for at least the next year. It's going to be important to reset back into self-reflection, basically. I'm going to try not to make this forever, but already this is taking a long time. All right, so the next card we have is the Moon, which is in Libra, and this is the Two of Swords. So this is indecision, solutions, and difficulties. So because the Two of Swords is about a choice, it could be, or rather what I would do is I would just make a choice. And this is where you have to forgive yourself. If you make a bad choice, if you make a good choice, You think you made the wrong choice, you think you made the right choice, whatever. My suggestion is, after some introspection, give yourself a time to think about it, and then just make a choice. And accept whatever comes from that choice. And you can navigate through this energy. See, a lot of the negatively oriented or polarized people and entities, they are used to either having choices made for them or making the choices unacceptable. Like, it's a lose-lose choice. So if you have a choice that is a lose-lose choice, that's okay. Just choose a lose. That's fine. Sometimes you have to choose to lose in the situation. There's no positive choice. And so it's better to, in this energy, make a choice than to say, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, sometimes the thing to do is to doing nothing is okay, or just make a choice. If you know choice A is bad and choice B is bad, just take just make a choice. Just make a choice. But to not participate at all is not going to be advisable, because there's a lot of positive things that come from making a choice. Okay, so they could also be trying to convince us to not make a choice, right? And so in not making a choice, whether we made the right choice or the wrong choice, but in not making a choice and not participating, we give up our energy too. We forfeit it. So you're going to have to make a choice. It's better to make a choice than not make a choice. And when it comes up, make a choice. It doesn't matter what choice you make. The Most High can make things work the way He's going to work. I'm specifically getting like elections and stuff like that. Just make a choice. It doesn't matter what choice you make. Honestly, you need to make a choice. You have to put your energy into it. And I am not giving that message. No, we're not there yet. But it's better to make a choice than not make a choice. That's going to be the energy that's coming up. The people who do not make a choice, who choose at this time not to make a choice, do not get to participate in the blessing that comes along with making a choice. That's all I'll say about that. And I know people don't want to hear that or whatever. Hey, it's on you. Do what you do. My suggestion is to make a choice. Okay? Make a choice. Doesn't matter what choice you make at this time. You can clearly see it doesn't matter what choice you make. You just have to make a choice. You have to put your energy into it. And that's a message I'm not giving until I get what I asked for. So I'm not going to go no further on that. But I like how y'all threw that in there. Y'all think y'all funny. All right, so the next the next placement is this South Node, which is the Three of Swords in reverse. And this is insult, fraud, and painful experiences. And so it's almost like you do the introspection, you make the choice, and you're either going to be insulted, there's going to be some fraud, and it's going to be a painful experience. But again, the valley is not optional. If this is all that's required for the valley, but look at how short this is. The introspection, you make the choice, you get insulted or fraud or painful experience, and then it's over. There's not something that goes on for like 2 rows, because I've done readings, you guys have seen them, where this painful energy goes on and on and on. Now, the problem with the Three of Swords in reverse, that is the energy that is very much tied into my energy. It is an energy that makes you want to take yourself out. So it's like you have to understand that this is an energy that is designed to call the masses. I don't even like to say it like that, but it's designed to separate the wheat from the chaff. Okay, here we go. You got the Two of Swords and the Three of Swords. That is a separation of the wheat from the chaff, and it gets done pretty quick. I mean, we're not dealing with this energy all through. These are the only swords. The last one being the Ace of Swords, which is the mother's point. That's in Sagittarius, and that's reason, illuminating, and sharp mind. So it's like this is the entirety of the valley. This energy is the entirety of the valley. The Two of Swords, the Three of Swords. You have to make a choice and deal with the consequences, whatever they may be. And that's it. This is what's being asked of people coming very soon. And we'll revisit that once I get what I asked for. The next placement we have is the earth sign, which is the part of fortune. And this is the moon. And it's intuition, dreams, the subconscious, mystery, astral realms, and psychic. So as you are delving into this inner world with this hermit card, it's going to bring you to a point where you have this kind of psychic energy. Now, if you're in our lunar working group, you saw the Sagittarius full moon video, and I mentioned about psychic, activations with this full moon. And so again, we're seeing it here too. Like, this is kind of like these psychic activations. It's like, if you can just hold your nose, make the decision, deal with the heartbreak of, whatever comes along with it. I'm not going into detail until I get what I asked for. You're trying to give me all of this stuff. No, I won't do it. But if you are able to deal with this kind of thing, doing this thing that you don't want to do, making this decision that you don't want to make, participating where you don't want to participate, you will be rewarded with some kind of psychic capability. And so that's up to you. Some people don't want psychic capabilities. Some people don't want to see the future. Some people don't want that kind of, it's like, okay. It's almost like these are the conditions, because today is Pentecost, right? These are the conditions for which the Holy Spirit will descend. You got to meet these conditions. And I'm thinking about it over the course of the year, but it could literally be in order to get this blessing of the Holy Spirit, which is this intuition, dreams, subconscious, mystery, astral realms. In order to get this psychic capabilities that will be coming with the descension of the Holy Spirit, you have to make the hard decision, and you have to kind of deal with it. You have to go through the valley. So if people have not gone through this kind of valley yet with this, making of a hard choice, that's going to be required before you are able to interface with the Holy Spirit. Okay. The next card we have is the Knight of Pentacles. And if you are able to do that, you got Pentacles as a reward. Again, stability, perseverance, and security. So it's like you're going to go, you have to go through the valley. The valley is not optional. This is not an extended valley. When you get on this energy vibration, it's not an extended valley. It's just make the decision, face the consequences, and that's it. It's a very, very short valley. So this is kind of like a small test, like a final test. You know how sometimes in school you get the final test and it's actually not that hard? Like the teacher just wants to know that you are paying attention. That's what this feels like. This feels like a final test in which the teacher just wants to make sure you are paying attention. You know what I mean? And that you know the work. And that you are capable of making decisions, tough decisions, when it's necessary. Because part of the problem of our people is that when it's time to make tough decisions, people don't want to make them. They run the opposite way. They, whatever, do all this crazy stuff when in fact they need to be making a tough decision. And that's just not good. Like you can't run away from making decisions. And a lot of our people, that's what we do. They will just run away. Instead of making a decision, they'll run. Like, look at a good example of this is like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Instead of like standing up and fighting his battles and, you know, taking whatever it took, this fool ran off to all the way across the country. Took off running and never stopped. I mean, that's the story of our people. We can't do that. We have to stand and fight and take a side. And you may take the wrong side. That's fine. It is what it is. But you have to take a side. You're not going to get out of this without taking a side, without taking a position. And far too often, our people, they don't want to take a position. They don't want to take a side. And somewhere in your life, you're going to be forced to take a side. It's just, but if you do, when you do, right after that, you get stability. And then the very next card, the Descendant, is the High Priestess, which is, again, intuition, revelation, inspiration, discretion, psychic gifts, a woman of power, a teacher. So it's like, okay, you'll get a small dose of this intuition, and then you get some stability, and then you get a larger dose of this intuition or an additional dose of this intuition under, you know, a woman of power, and then you have a double, you know, basically these are three women, like the maiden, the mother, and the crone, because like the Descendant, the High Priestess is a woman, the Nine of Coins has a female in it, and the Princess of Coins, obviously that's a female in my book, not a male, not the page, but the princess. And so you have triple females right here, like all with different varying levels of abundance, right? So you have revelation, inspiration, psychic gifts, right? Psychic gifts with the High Priestess. You've got money, physical gifts, physical abundance with the Nine of Coins, and what is it? Mental, physical, and it may be spiritual abundance, or spiritual, physical, mental, you know, with the Princess of Coins. We'll see what that says, but this is a lot of abundance that comes from, you know, this little bit of making a choice and, you know, just doing what you think is right, and not being so swayed by that. So these could be things that already happened, or this could be how the energy has played out already for you to get you to this day. Like for me, it's how the energy has played out, or this is how the energy will play out moving forward, depending on where you are in this cycle, right? Okay, the next placement is the Nine of Coins, which is success, great love, and reward. So again, you've got the High Priestess with the psychic gifts or the spiritual gifts. You've got, you know, the success, the physical gifts with this Nine of Coins. And then the, this is Neptune. So this is definitely mental, spiritual, physical, and then mental. So it'll come spiritual first, then physical and mental. Okay. Because it's Princess of Coins, it's ambition, diligence, desire, and that's in a Neptune position. And as I mentioned in my Sagittarius video, Neptune is going to be sitting in 29 degrees of Pisces until September. So this mental ambition, diligence, and desire is going to be churning around all the way until September for sure. And this is a very good place to be set up, you know, moving forward, to be mentally ambitious. You know what I mean? To be mentally diligent, to have mental desire to achieve things. You know what I mean? This is a really, really, you know, long churning energy. Same thing with Saturn, which is, I think it's at 18 degrees of Pisces, and it's churning there too. So this is like success, great love and rewards, ambition, diligence, desire, Nine of Coins, Princess of Coins, just this energy that's just of abundance, is just overflowing and taking its time and becoming stable and coming in a way. But again, that's only if you have gone through this dark night. And again, even the Two of Swords, I'm sorry to go back to this, but between the Hermit and the Two of Swords, neither one of them have any light. They can't see. So this is literally having come through this valley of not knowing how things were going to play out and not freaking out about it. You know what I mean? And being able to keep yourself together and not going off the deep end and not, checking out early. You know what I mean? All right, so now we're going into our wands. Now, wands is the biggest energy we have for this. And remember, wands are correction. So once you get the physical, the spiritual abundance, the physical abundance, the mental abundance. Once all those things come in, then we're going to start making corrections. All right. So the first set of corrections is this Three of Wands, which is Mars and Aries, and that's offspring, happiness, gratitude. So you may have to, make some corrections within your happiness, what you're happy for, with your family, things at home, just readjustments in that area, right? Once you can make that adjustment in your happiness and your gratitude, meaning be grateful for what you have, whatever you ended up with, at the end of this trial, you need to be grateful for that. You know what I mean? And some people will get more than others. Everybody's getting different things. It's really based on, your individual contract and stuff like that, which we can tell by looking at your chart. So just understand that. But you have to be grateful for what you have. Be grateful and happy for what others have. Everybody should be satisfied with what they got. You don't want to automatically start a whole problem by not being satisfied with what you got. Then you'll get your the North Node in Aries, which is a new beginning. The Fool card. New beginnings, the querent, you, start of a journey, the unexpected. This is where your new beginning comes in. So all the way up to this point, this is not even a new beginning. This is like closing out the old chapter. This is that wave of energy that's leaving out. This is not even the new energy that's coming in. This is the energy that is actually on its way out, which is pretty amazing. So you're going to start your new chapter with an abundance of spiritual gifts, physical gifts, and mental gifts. You're not going to start your new chapter with nothing. And it's just like when the Israelites left Egypt. They didn't leave with nothing. The problem with the Israelites is that they ended up, doing a bunch of stuff and wandered around the desert for 40 years. However, they still did not leave Egypt with nothing. They did not leave empty-handed. They left with everything. They was blinged out. I saw a TikTok about that earlier. They was blinged out when they rolled out of there. You know what I mean? They left with everything. So I was reading something, or I don't remember where I saw it, but what happened was someone had said, or it was, what is that thing called? Hold on. Some kind of effect. Hold on. Hold on. I think this is important. Give me a second. The something effect. I hope I can find it. The something effect. The something effect. I'm sorry, this is really important because you want to be able to refer back to this. Let's see what it's called. I know that I watched a video about it. It's very interesting. I know they didn't take it down because it was super old. The video was literally like 2 or 3 years old. It was so old. Oh dang, I went into the BBL Drizzy rabbit hole. I thought this was before that. I don't remember. I want to tell y'all what it's called because they use this against us all the time. And so now we're going to have access to that. It's not the Miller effect. Oh, it's a scripture in the Bible too. Matthew effect. The Matthew effect. It's called the Matthew effect. And there's a scripture where it says, to whom much is given, even more will be given them, right? Oh, let me see. Now that I remember what it's called. There we go. The Matthew effect. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. So the Matthew effect is this: the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, right? And so there's a scripture in the Bible where it says literally, to whom much is given, even more will be given them. And then to whom little is given, even that will be taken away. I think it's Matthew 6:23. I was just talking about Matthew. I'm going to wait for him to say the scripture and then I'll turn the music back on because it won't do that while I'm looking at TikTok. So before we get this new beginning, we're going to, like I said, having an overabundance of spiritual gifts, physical gifts, mental gifts. We're going to have dealt with any, thing in our home that needs to be dealt with. And then we get the new beginning. So we're not going to start this new beginning with nothing. And that was one of the, in general, issues. I was like, well, how are we going to have a new beginning when we don't even have anything? Hold on. Gospel of Matthew 25 verse 29. Matthew 25 and 29. Let me just pull that up real quick. I'm sorry this reading is so long. Y'all know. Matthew 25 and 29. This is with the parable of the virgins, the parable of the talents. Okay. This is with the parable of the talents. Matthew 25 and 29. For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So listen, we've talked about this version of the story many, many times. The ones who have nothing spiritually stored up, they have no spiritual treasures, they have no spiritual gifts, they have no discernment, they have no compassion for the fellow humans. Those ones, even what they have is going to be taken away from them. And I say that in no uncertain terms. That's literally what the energy is saying. I dug all the way to find that. It was no coincidence. So yeah, even what they have will be taken away from them. And that is what we are looking at. That's what's going to happen with us. So everything's not going to be taken from us. We're going to be given a lot. We're going to be given everything. And then we're going to get our new beginning. Okay? And so that's the Fool card. All right, next we have our Chiron, which is in the Queen of Wands. And that's pride, femininity, and self-confidence. This is when we're going to see the true return of our sister, the Thaumaterga, the Holy Spirit in that form, whatever you want to call it. That's when that is going to happen. The new beginning is going to come, and then we're going to turn right around and have the return of the divine feminine. So the divine feminine is not going to come while this place is still in total shambles. I know that's what many, many, many people think is going to happen, but I don't think so. So what I would be looking for the return of the divine feminine is for spiritual gifts to be restored, for physical abundance to be restored, and for mental abundance to be restored. And then, then that's when we're getting close to the return of the divine feminine. Now, when the divine feminine does return, you have this Mercury, which is in Taurus at 5 of Wands, and that's strength, competition, and conflict. With her return is going to bring conflict, because if it's time for our brother to not step down, but to step into a new role, right, to elevate as we are also elevating, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be fighting to keep him in the same position he's been in. He's trying to elevate, and these, Roman Christians, no, Christians in general, are holding him back. They don't want him to go further. They don't want him to be better. Honestly, they want him to stay in the same position he's in and be the same God he's always been. And you have him trying to elevate into a new position, something that he's earned with all his hard work and his suffering. And these people are trying to keep him nailed to the cross. And that's unfair. And so there's going to be a lot of conflict when the divine feminine returns. I mean, think of, Moses going up the mountain, talking to the divine feminine, making this deal, coming back down with the tablets, seeing that these people are worshiping, the divine feminine, getting pissed off at them for worshiping the divine feminine in a very loose way, and then going back up the mountain and making a deal with the masculine, or the Anunnaki, or Yaldabaoth, or whatever you want to call it, the masculine principle, because they're not ready for the feminine principle. This is the conclusion that Moses made. He decided these people are not ready for the feminine principle. They still have not dealt with their lower sacral urges so that they can maintain, decency, which is probably true. If they were having some wild party and acting all crazy, nah, you can't be like that with the divine feminine. You have to be in order. I don't know where this idea comes that the divine feminine likes chaos. I don't. And so it's almost like they're trying to force the chaos to be prolonged so that they can delay the divine feminine. But there are not going to be no more delays. That's not what I see. I don't see delays. I see people are going to be forced to make a decision. And the ones who don't make a decision, they don't get access to this timeline where the divine feminine comes. This is how hardcore this is going to be. The ones who don't make the decision, not going to get access to this blessing. And I already said that, and now I'm saying it again. The ones who don't make a decision, not going to get access to this blessing. They're going to be forced to stay out. Okay, I'm not saying prayers right now, okay? Can you close the door for me, please? Thank you. Okay, go that way. Close the door, please. Thank you. He came in here. Oh, my goodness. Crossing the... All praise to the Most High. Anyway, the ones who don't participate in the decision will not get to take part in the blessing. That's it. So it's going to be a lot of people. The fighting is going to be amongst the people who didn't even make the choice. They're going to be fighting to get in. They're going to be fighting for access to the blessing. But they made their decision when they refused to make a decision. You have to decide. What did the Most High say? Better to be hot or cold than lukewarm. If you're lukewarm, I will spit you out. And so this is not a time for being lukewarm about anything. Say it with your whole chest. Whatever it is. And it doesn't mean you have to choose sides. That's not what I mean. What it means is you have to choose righteousness. And in some cases, righteousness is, both sides are wrong. And I'm not going to get on the side of people where both sides are wrong. Sometimes righteousness is, I choose the side of life, like let the people live, you know. Sometimes the side of righteousness is, you know, when you see something that is troubling, you don't ignore it, you address it, but you also keep in mind that these are not isolated things. There's lots of weird things that's going on. Can't trust, take it at necessarily at face value. So it's a lot of different things, but the point of the matter is you're making all your choices in righteousness. Like, you know, deciding to participate in the fast, that was a choice made in righteousness. And deciding to just do the fast for forgiveness, you know what I mean? And focus on that instead of being focused on, is this good, is this bad, what's the intentions, or anything like that. I'm just focused on, hey, I need some forgiveness. I need to go easy on myself. I need to learn how to deal with my body in a way where my body is actually even. I don't have many experiences like that, and so I need to give my body a chance to even itself out. And so those are all things that are coming up. All right. So the very next placement we have is the Knight of Wands, which is fiery love, self-confidence, and motivation. So you have the Queen of Wands and the Knight of Wands. And basically those are like, they're watching these people fight. They're going to keep that fighting contained so that it doesn't, you don't have to be interfering with that. They'll be able to kind of keep that boxed in because she's got her head towards the Knight got his head towards the Queen, and these people are going to be boxed in. If you're just looking at the images, they're going to be literally boxed in. And then after that, we have Seven of Wands. Now, last year was 777. This year is 888. Next year we'll have 999. So these years are really important. And we're halfway through this particular cycle. We already had 777. We're coming up on 888. And then we'll have 999. Very, very important days, okay? This is just reinforcing of what we started last year during July is going to be relevant during this year. This time period from May 18th this year to next year. All right, so there's victory, hope, and defense. Again, defending the things you already have secured. You know, you have, this is protection. This is layers upon layers of protection. You know what? It's 1 7 of Wands for every gift that needs to be protected. You have 1 7 of Wands to protect the High Priestess, 1 to protect the 9 of Coins, 1 to protect the Princess of Coins. You have a protection around each one of those things, around your spirit, your soul, and your mind. Like each one has a separate level of protection, which is amazing. So all of your spiritual gifts, all of your gifts, spiritual, physical, and mental, are going to be protected. And then the very last card we have in this is the Ace of Wands, which is courage, desire, and positivity. So, you know, all in all, you know, we talked a lot about this all the way through. I just hope that people understand that they have to make the decision, they have to participate, even if their participation it's not the choices that they give you. Your participation could be in the case of, like, you know, hostilities that are happening around the planet, staying on the side of life, choosing the ones that are trying to preserve life, or choosing the ones whose lives are being taken away from them, staying on their side. Or in other hostilities, it could be choosing the ones who are making an effort to preserve our history. You know what I mean? Like, it just depends on what's going on. Like, you have to be willing to make the choice, however that choice comes to you. Now, for me, this was a choice that I already made, so I don't know what it is for everybody, but for me, I already made the choice prior to this, and it was a difficult choice because it was going against what a lot of people were saying. However, I knew it was the right choice for me, and I still have to deal with the mental results of that. But I'm glad to know now that it is going to lead to the stuff that I've been asking for, so that I can do the work that I've been instructed to do, which I can't do until I have these spiritual gifts on deck, these physical gifts, and these mental gifts. All right, so this is the tree of life, and again, we use this as a roadmap for how the energy is going to play out. At the beginning, I showed you the dates that go with this, and I'll put out, like I said, a chart or whatever, and put it in the description when this energy is going to roll in over the next year, how this energy is going to play out over the next year. Although this energy can also play out over the next 18 years, I'll just have to keep an eye on that. Once we get more familiar with the energies, we'll be able to track it a little bit better, okay? Let's start with the South Node. So, in reverse, this is the way out. Reverse. This is insult, fraud, and painful experience. So, it's going to be a painful experience, some kind of insult, kind of, fraud or whatever. And in this order, the choice isn't until way down towards the end. So, that's very interesting as well. And next we have the Nine of Coins, which is success, great love, and reward. So once we have the heart, the insult, the fraud, or whatever, then we have some great success. Following that success, we have the Moon, which is intuition, dreams, subconscious, astral realm. So this is when psychic abilities will be turned all the way up, like amplified. Following that, we have this Three of Wands, which is offspring, happiness, gratitude. So once our psychic gifts get turned all the way up, we have some physical money in our pockets. Then we need to, of course, readjust. We'll have a readjustment period where we can be happy and have some gratitude for the happiness that we have. Following that, we have a double dose of the Seven of Wands, which is victory, hope, and defense. So we'll have a double dose of protection of whatever it is that we gain during that physical. So it's almost like once we get this physical abundance, that is what's going to trigger everything else to go, which is basically what I said in the last reading. That's going to trigger everything else to move. Following that, them double Seven of Wands, we have the Five of Wands, which is strength, competition, and conflict. So there's going to be some fighting and some readjusting of decisions, and things are going to look a little bit chaotic. And then we have another Seven of Wands, and so when the dust settles, then we have another period of readjustment where we'll have victory, hope, and defense, protection of whatever it is that happens as a result of this little scuffle. And then towards the end of this cycle, we're going to have the Two of Swords, which is indecision, solutions, and difficulties. But again, the way that you get out of that Two of Swords energy when it comes up is to just make a decision. Don't, sit and wallow and fuss and cry and whatever, pain yourself over making a decision. Make the decision and get it over with. Just do it. Your intuition, your spirit team, the creator, somebody will tell you what to do. That's the voice that comes from the inside of you. Just make the decision. Don't hem and haw about it. The problem is when people hem and haw about these things. You will be forewarned on what that decision is going to be, and then you just need to make it. It's going to be that simple. And then after that, that's when we get our new beginning. And it's funny because by the time we get to this new beginning, the nodes will have switched. And so we'll be in a Pisces Virgo axis of the nodes. And so the new beginning is going to be smack dab in the middle, you know, the starting of that Pisces Virgo nodal switch. So I would almost say, you know, we still got a year out before the real beginning starts, but we should get access to these physical gifts in like 30 days or so. You know, that's provided you can get through the next, basically the next 30 days, which are going to be pretty hard. And what I also will say is this lines up with the AstroTarotGraphy tree for the whole year, my predictions for the year, because, hold on, let me pull up the dates real quick. Right now, we're in the Ten of Swords, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Right now, from April 20th until May 26th, we're in the Ten of Swords. And then from May 26th to July 1st, we're in the Five of Wands. So the next 30 days covers this Ten of Swords energy and this Five of Wands energy. Let me go back and look at the dates. When is this over? This is over June 25th. So yeah. So as we come out of the Five of Wands energy, collectively for the planet, we'll also be coming out of this South Node energy here. This Three of Swords energy in reverse. So again, I've said many times by July the 1st, things will be making a huge turnaround. I stand by that. I stand by that. By July the 1st, things gonna look a lot different. Things gonna look a lot different. And that's shown in this chart right here. So, this is what this timeline looks like. Again, you only get access to this timeline if you have gone through the valley, you make the tough decision, and you've done what's necessary. You get access to this timeline. I prefer this timeline over the other timelines because this planetary timeline after the it's not a good timeline. I just be honest with you. It's not a great timeline. It's not a great timeline. And I said that if you go back and look at my predictions video for the year, I said that, man, this is going to be some people going to have a really tough year. And so we got an opportunity right now to jump to another timeline. I would highly suggest that you take it. And that's going to be my recommendation. So I hope this video meets you well. Of course, if you're interested in a reading like this for yourself, please let me know. The link is in the description, but you can't click it. So if you need a clickable link, just send me an email and I'll send it to you. So you can get it on the website. And feel free to join us in any of our groups, which are also not clickable anymore. You know, we got a lot of good stuff going on, and we're timing it with the energy, and so it just takes a little bit longer when you have to time stuff with the energy. It is what it is. So shalom, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video.